All right, I'm going to review a gun. You know, I had some excellent ideas from some of my Patreons and some of the content I should do. And All Outdoors said I should review some firearms that I've had for some time and kind of tell what I think about them, and that might be helpful to some people. So, first gun I'm going to review is my Smith & Wesson Model 69 and 44 Magnum. Now, the first question would come to mind, why a gun like this? So I'm going to go over its specs real quick. It has a 4¼ inch barrel. It weighs 37.4 ounces. It is a Smith & Wesson L frame. And typically the L frames are guns like this, the Smith & Wesson 686. These are both clear, by the way. L frame. And most people that get a 44 Magnum are looking for something that's going to be pretty heavy, probably a longer barrel than this. And the question comes to mind, why would anybody even get something like this? So before I show the rest of this, I wanted to share that I did change the grip on this. This is an X-frame grip, but it fits pretty much most Smith & Wesson frames from the K-frame up to the X-frame. And this is the original grip that came on it. Huge difference here. So the purpose of a revolver like this for most people is to have a revolver that packs a huge punch, but that's kind of small, kind of light. They can kind of carry backpacking in bear country and stuff like that. My purpose for it is completely different. What I was looking for was a Target 44 Special. I'm a big fan of the 44 Special more than I am the 44 Magnum. I just love it. It's a nice plinking round, and it's a good defensive round. By the way, I do keep this thing loaded at home with some Buffalo Bore lead-free 44 Specials. Very warm, and that's the benefit of a 44 Special. But the only 44 Special firearms out there that are just 44 Special are either hard to find or expensive, like the Ruger GP100 44 Special, or you got the Charter Arms Bulldog Target, and that's kind of what I was looking for because I wanted full ballistics of 44 Special. But something like a Bulldog, you're really limited in what you can fire through it. You can't even fire Buffalo Bore 44 Special through it. You can't fire Warm 44 Special plus P, anything like that. So going up to a 44 Magnum means that I can safely fire all gamut of 44 Special ammunition. And I can go up to 44 Magnum if I really wanted to. So to explain some differences in this particular gun versus something like the 686, this is a little bit different. This is the newer version of Smith & Wesson revolvers. Now, I'm going to pull up my 686 here and just explain some of the stuff here. All steel frame barrel, but the thing with this, it's kind of the old school. It's just attached by your basic crane system here, and your barrel is one piece. So this is where we get some of the issues with canted barrels with Smith & Wesson revolvers. This one is not, but a lot of people get, they're a little bit off-centered because when it finishes tightening, because there's basically threads in there and they tighten it on, sometimes the barrel is not perfectly straight, and that kind of throws off the accuracy. It throws off a lot with the revolvers. With Smith & Wesson's new variations of revolvers, what they have is they have an internal barrel, and this whole area up here is just a sleeve that goes over it, so they can tighten it properly, and then they basically have it dovetailed in with the external barrel. And then they have some other things, like they have a ball detent, so it locks up a little bit tighter. There's some other various differences, but that's basically the gist of it, of the differences here. So pretty much my reason, again, is I wanted a good 44 Special, and I think that that's what this is. And I'm going to fire some different ammunition. From 10 yards, I have an 8-inch circle at 10 yards. I'm going to fire all the way down from plinker loads 44 Special up to a little bit warmer 44 Magnum, and we'll see how this gun does for me. So let's get started with firing some of these rounds. All right, first up I have some basic hand-loaded ammunition, 180 grain XTP, 682 feet per second, which I think is 186 foot-pounds if I recall right. Very, very low. I mean, this is in the energy range of 38 Special, so there's a lot of versatility in a gun like this. So from 10 yards, let's see how this will do in double action. All right, a little bit to the right for me. Let's move up to something slightly more powerful. All right, PMC 180 grain. These are up to 740 feet per second. Just a little bit more powerful. Let's Let's see how these will do. Not very good ammunition to have a misfire already. I'm gonna wait a minute here. All right, I have an extraordinarily important update that I had to clip in here into this video because it makes a huge difference for the rest of this video. We saw that on paper my sights were really far to the right, and I tried to adjust those sights. And I didn't have a screwdriver in the field. All I had was a case mouth of a cartridge, and I thought it could not be adjusted any more over to the left to equalize that out, but I was wrong. When I put a correct fitting screwdriver in there, it clicked over about a dozen more clicks. So that should shoot perfectly fine. And the other, even more important issue here is I was getting a lot of misfires. It wasn't the ammo like I thought it was the strain screw. See this strain screw right here? It's backed out almost all the way for some reason. It must have had that happen through recoil. And you see this hammer spring is very straight. It gives me a very light trigger pull. I guess I didn't even notice that at all. But when we tighten that strain screw to where it's supposed to be, you'll be able to see that hammer spring will start to curve from being tightened. And it increases the trigger pull, but that's where it should be. That's not where it was. So some of those heavy recoiling rounds push that out of the way. So now the hammer strike is significantly harder with that strain screw. So those are the issues, simple issues that I didn't even think to check, while filming. So back onto the video, take it for what it is, but it's a good revolver. I'm gonna restrike that one. Here we go. That ammunition ain't there very good. Gonna restrike it. All right, let's move on to something a little bit more powerful. Next up is actually 44 Russian. 44 Russian was the predecessor to 44 Special. This is actually more powerful than those first two 44 Specials. About 700 feet per second, but it's a 247 grain. So let's see how these 44 Russians will do. Wow, interesting. I don't think that's my firearm. I'll restrike it. Huh. There's just getting some light strikes on some of this ammunition. I keep going with it. All right, let me try something different. It might just be 44 cases. I got good strikes on all these. It has to be the primers because the ones that are struck have just very deep impacts. Let me move on to something else. All right, next up are my light Magnum reloads. Again, the 180 grain XTP, 10 feet per second, 408 foot-pounds energy. So pretty low. It's about like a 45 ACP and a 44 mag case. Let's see how these do. All right, let me move on to something else. Case ejections starting to get a little bit sticky because these chambers get kind of dirty pretty quickly. I've noticed that with this revolver, and I've cleaned it quite well. Let's move on to something else. PMC 180 grain 44 Magnum. We're looking at 1285 feet per second, 660 foot-pounds. So we're moving up a little bit. See how these will shoot. Yeah, we're definitely moving up into some Magnums there. Let's move up to something a little warmer. 1124 feet per second, PPU. But these are 240 grain, so that's going to produce a little bit more muzzle rise, even though the energy isn't that much greater than the last load. So let's see how these will do for me. Interesting. Again, I'm noticing that the cheapest ammo is having these issues with misfires. I don't think that that's a hang fire. Let's move it back, restrike it. All right, let's move on to something else. All right, Winchester 240 grain soft point, 1173 feet per second, 733 foot-pounds, a little bit more reputable company. So if I get misfires with this, maybe I should look into something with the revolver, but we'll see. Yeah, that's a true Magnum. Every sense of the way, it's got that punch of a Magnum. Let's move on to something else. All right, Remington 180 grain soft point. These are moving at 1361 feet per second out of this gun, 740 foot-pounds. Not much more powerful than the Winchester there, but a lighter bullet. So might reduce some muzzle rise just a little bit. See what we get with this. A little bit softer shooting, a little bit better case ejection. So that lighter bullet kind of helps. Let's move on to something else. All right, I got some Underwood 180 grain XTPs. Only have 4 of these. 1382 feet per second, 763 foot-pounds energy. So these should be pretty mild. Let's see how these do. All right, pretty good. Let's move on to the Hornady. All right, I got some Hornady 240 grain XTPs. These are warmer than the last ones. 1252 feet per second, 835 foot-pounds energy out of this gun. So these ones will have some recoil. Let's see how I do. I got 4 of these. So a little bit of a grip breaker on that, so that's something to keep in mind. You know, if it's too much of a round, if it breaks your grip a little bit, it's probably not the best round. It's better to go with a little bit less recoil. So I'm gonna shoot some steel. We'll do some different distances with that and see how that does. All right, 25 yards. Got those 180 grain 44 special plinker loads I made. Super soft recoil, perfect for a gun like this for a new shooter. 25 yards. See what we get. Definitely wanting to hit a little bit to the right for me, and that's what I was seeing on paper. So probably a sight drift would be a little bit beneficial for me. So I'll look into doing that. All right, same ammo. It's actually drifted as far over as it can go. I got one more click on it, so I don't know if one more click will make a difference. At 25 yards, let's find out. I'll do some slower fire, see what happens. Maybe a little bit, but not a whole lot. Let's try some more ammo. All right, my hand-loaded 44 Magnums that are about like a 45 ACP. See how these will do. All right, interesting. Not too bad. Let's move back from a little distance and launch some of these off. That'd be kind of fun. All right, I decided to come back about 75 yards from the target. Actually, we're about 78 yards, something like that. Use those super light 44 specials again, just to kind of see if I can actually hit anything at that distance. I may have to aim a little bit to the left to make some hits, but let's see if I can make any hits with these, see how they feel for me. Very high, very right, so a little bit low, I'll aim, and a little bit left. Those would take some getting used to. A few more I'll try, just a few more. They're moving so slow that it's arcing the gun up a little bit, and they're going way up, coming way back down, so try some more. Yeah, those are hard to hit with. Let me try my hand-loaded 44 mag 45 ACP loads. I suspect we're still going to be heading a little bit to the right. I don't think these are going to arc and drop as much, so I'll aim just a little bit left, and that's all I'll do. Got my glove stuck again in the trigger. All right, I got some Remington 180 grain true Magnums. 6 rounds of that left. See how this will do for me. A lot faster than my hand loads, for darn sure. It seemed like they were pretty good on for the sights, except a little bit to the right. Cylinder blast that blew the rest of my glove open. That's pretty harsh. Oh, I had one left. One-handed. One thing about this X-frame grip is it's an excellent grip, and it absorbs a lot of that recoil. It has the padding, and it shoots totally fine. This is empty. It clears the grip just fine in double action. But when you go to cock it in single action, it will hang up a little bit on that, and you have to give it that extra press to get it to go into single action. That's something to be aware of. But I like to shoot in double action, so it doesn't really bother me too much, and you could probably grind that down. All right, PMC 180 grain Magnums. See how these will do. That cylinder blast is really getting to be something. It makes it kind of hard to not flinch and hard to focus because it's cutting into me a little bit. It's painful, and I'm not even near the cylinder that much, and that's partly because of getting so fouled up. There's going to be fouling that's going to blast out and hit you. So I'm going to switch on to some lighter loads to prevent that from now on. So let's see if we can get with some more specials. 2 more of the PMCs. See if I can hit in single action. It's kind of hard to see where I'm hitting. That's my problem. That was pure luck. I think that's enough ammo to kind of give a review of what we're seeing here and get a good overview of this. And I think it really matches my opinion of it, and to begin with, that it really is more of a 44 special that can shoot 44 Magnum. And that's kind of what we see with some of the Smith & Wesson little alloy J-frames that have scandium in them, the 340 PD, stuff like that. Yeah, 11 ounces and you're trying to shoot 357 Magnum. Really what that is a 38 special, the revolver, with the option to shoot 357 Magnum. I kind of see this as the same thing, because our capabilities with this is not very good at distance with 44 Magnum ammo. I can shoot 357 at that distance very easily. I get very few misses. This thing is a challenge to hit anything at distance with. Even 25 yards, we're seeing a challenge. For some reason, these sights are just not lining up with my shots. I don't know why that is. I don't think it's me, because my other revolvers are not like that. I don't think it's flinching. Everything seems right with the way I'm shooting this thing, and yet it's hitting significantly to the right. So overall, what this is good for is probably what I use it for the most part. You know, close range ballistic testing, or I keep it with 44 specials for home defense. It really is a 44 special. That's just going to be its practical purpose, to be using 44 special ammo, in my opinion. Sure, you can shoot Magnums through it, backpacker guns, stuff like that, but my review of this, if I had 10 stars or something like that, oh man, I'd probably say about a 7, because it's not really great at any one thing. It does 44 specials okay. My accuracy with it isn't great. but it's a good revolver overall. It's certainly more practical than that Governor I bought. So to each his own. I still think it's a great revolver. Very good quality. It's just that the purpose for it is kind of neither here nor there. So that's what you get. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.